STAKK Nation, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, Security Exchange Communities, has something to tell us. More specifically, if it is not your keys, is it your coins? Let us jump into this video double O. Now, we are going to play the Twitter video from this interview here. What is this guy's name, by the way?
Alejandro.
Is Alejandro?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like he's the freshest face on TV, bro. He's the only person whose face does not annoy me. I don't know.
You mean the guy
Yes.
on CNBC?
Yeah, the young dude, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what his name is, but yeah, I see him all the time.
Alejandro, do not sell your soul to the devil. Otherwise, the African rebels will get you. Hey, I have to work on my African rebel voice, man. I feel like I did a decent job with it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's play this video because Gary Gensler has an important message here. SEC chairman, not your keys, not your coins. If he's saying it, I don't know why people are not moving there.
Can I say something though before you start the video? We have to remember that Gary Gensler could be a wolf in sheep clothing because he used to be an ex-banker so as well. Goldman Sachs.
I mean, you have to assume that, expect the worst. Expect the worst, hope for the best.
Yep.
That's what I see when I see Mr. Gary here, man. Smart guy, but he's walking with a knife, and if you're in his path, man,
Slice it, yeah.
yes, he's like the collection man for the mafia, and he's doing a great job at it.
For the big banks, for the central banks.
Hey, man, come on.
Chair Gensler, it's great to see you this morning. There's a phrase online where they say, "Tell it to me like I'm 5." So for those who are uninitiated into what happened here, tell it to me like I'm 5. What was Kraken doing, and what was the problem that you were trying to solve?
Andrew, what Kraken was doing was asking the American public for their coins, crypto tokens, and saying, I'll give you a return, 4% to 21% returns. And the problem was they were not disclosing to the investing public the risk that the investing public was entering into. And we have a basic bargain in the...
I want to pause there for a second. Mr. Gensler says that Kraken was not disclosing to the public the risk that were involved in investing in these things. I think that it is understood, and the general public realizes that when you get into crypto, it is not FDIC insured.
It's not centralized control.
There are no regulations currently in the space that are very clear. And so anything that people do in the crypto space, I mean, maybe I'm just over assuming here, but I think there is an understanding that you are just taking this risk on your own and there is no guarantees or protections with it. Am I off with that? Because the last time I checked, there is still no clarification on crypto.
Yes and no. So this is a good question for the audience. If you're investing your money, which you then use that money, that fiat, to buy coins and tokens, right?
Yeah.
And you assume it's decentralized. Number one, it's not decentralized if it's controlled by Kraken and Kraken is giving you back dividends or some interests in your investments. Gensler, I think in this case is right to say that if you're an American and you're investing in America with your American dollars, right, you've automatically fallen into American regulations.
Okay.
Right? So all your decentralization noise is just keep quiet.
Right.
Your money, our money, literally our money. You think it's your money. Our money is being put into this space,
Right.
which we control. it's no longer decentralized. We centralize it, and we need to know what people are doing with that money. Which basically they need to know what banks are doing with that money. So Kraken is doing what banks do, but not being transparent about what they're doing with that money. That's the way I say it.
Strong point, and it makes sense. It would almost sound like you are seeing a situation where Gary Gensler is useful.
You said it in one of the last videos we
then.
did.
All
You
right.
started to-
Hey, come on now.
Yeah, I was wrong about that. I was wrong. I would admit my wrongness.
No, it's not about being wrong, but it's just that this guy is just the amount of zigzag he does.
It's
right?
good at it.
It's like he's genuinely doing things that are truly to protect the American people, but at the same time, some of the way they move on some things, it's very confusing. It makes you feel like they're just out here to get everyone, right? But at the same time, there are things that they're doing that 100% make sense. Now, the thing is, when it comes to the American public, right? The American public is coddled heavily. Because in most countries, we do not have things like FDIC and so on and so forth, right? Like say, I mean, at least growing up, bro, in the country that I grew up in, there was no credit. You're responsible for your own money, right? And so, if Americans can accept that, okay, if you want freedom, if you want true freedom, right, then you take away things like the SEC, you go out there, you invest your money, and what happens. It's on you. Then okay,
We can't do the Texas Wild Wild West at this current state of the country's economy or the country's maturity.
Yeah.
I think what we need is governments doing the right thing, like putting the right regulations in place.
Yeah.
Or like, because this is a regulated space. It should be regulated space. It's people's money. It's the government's money. I don't know why I keep saying it's people's money. If you have,
here's the thing though, are people not free to do what they want with their money?
yes, they are.
If they choose, because look, you can go to Vegas,
Yeah.
and gamble your money and lose it.
Vegas has
And they don't
regulations too.
No, but you can go in, right, and you can lose your whole paycheck.
Vegas,
and no one will stop you.
Vegas is heavily regulated. You have no idea.
No, this is what I'm saying. Vegas is regulated.
Yeah.
Right. They're regulated on what end? Because is there a regulation that stops them from saying, "Hey, you have played up to this amount today. You should not play anymore."
No, the government should not regulate you and your money, but they should regulate the guys holding your money. Like the casinos are heavily regulated. Same thing here.
The guys
Kraken
holding your
should be
money.
regulated. Yeah, the
Yes,
guys
yes,
holding
yes,
the money
yes,
should be
yes,
regulated.
yes.
You see that?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
You see, I think that's where I was making an error because I
Yeah.
was connecting this regulation to the entities,
Individuals. Yeah.
to the regulation on the people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also see situations where they're regulating institutions in turn to control the people, like CBDCs in Nigeria.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that video, right? I mean, CBDCs in general, actually, But let's play on here. Let's play on.
Yeah.
The United States since the 1930s. You can take whatever risks you want. Companies like Kraken can offer investment contracts and investment schemes, but they have to have full, fair, and truthful disclosure. And this puts the investors who watch your program in a better position. That's our basic bargain. They were not complying with that basic law.
Okay,
That's exactly what I'll say.
that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Explain
That
it
is
to you like I'm 5.
They have to be clear with what they're doing with your money.
Gamble all you want.
Yeah.
But the folks holding your money need to be honest.
Yeah, they need to be honest about it.
That is the part where CBDC is not honest. That is when it's different.
That is also where the SEC is not honest because they don't tell us exactly what they're doing in the background with all these companies.
The chairman of the Federal Reserve just said that CBDCs don't make sense because it makes the government extremely in control.
Yeah. Well, they're saying that now because you know that when CBDC is coming, they're gonna kick him out because they will not need a Federal Reserve at that point. So,
good point.
yeah. At the same time, it's like this guy's enforcing something he's also violating. Because
Look at his face,
we
though.
would like to know what they're doing in the background with XRP.
Look at his face, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you see stress.
So how does this, though, differ, for example, from some of the other firms out there, including Coinbase, who offer yield products?
Whether you call the labels don't matter. Long ago, Supreme Court Justice Marshall said this so eloquently. It's not about the labels, it's about the underlying economics. And this really should put everyone on notice in this marketplace, whether you call it lend, whether you call it earn, whether you call it yield, whether you offer what's called an annual percentage yield, APY, that doesn't matter. If somebody's taking their tokens and transferring it to that platform, the platform controls it. And guess what happens if they go bankrupt? You stand in line at the bankruptcy court. There's a saying in crypto that says, not your keys, not your coins. So those other platforms should take note of this and seek to come into compliance, do the proper disclosures and registration and the like.
Okay, so but here's one of the big issues, as I think you
Yes, not your keys, not your coins. From the SEC
themselves, right? To you.
If you're still buying coins and leaving them on Coinbase, you deserve what comes to you.
I kind of like the way they presented the Coinbase charts, just the graphic charts.
Yes, yes.
Kramer
Jim
said
Cramer.
Kramer said to buy it at the top.
Yes, Jim Cramer is buying at the top, man.
That's why it's probably Kramer saying, I'm not going anywhere close to crypto. It's $58 now.
Oh,
I do see Coinbase coming back up, though, just like Meta has been coming back up slowly. Once this all regulation stuff gets cleared out. Basically, a lot of these tokens out there, a lot of these cryptos out there, a lot of them, some of them don't have the money and the right leadership to come and get it right and be known as a security. So all that miscommunication about is decentralized. All that noise goes away. We know you're running as a company and you're running a technology called the blockchain and you're creating some sort of efficiency in whatever solution you've designed to create, to design the solution for the problem.
To provide,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then we'll go from there. But stop trying to be Bitcoin. We know you're not Bitcoin.
You like what I posted there?
Yes.
Yes. He's snotting them XRP
know,
lines.
which is this staking service is going to no longer be available to customers in the U.S. But interestingly, they're going to still offer the same product internationally, abroad, outside of the United States. And so it raises this larger policy question as to whether crypto, these types of products just move offshore. Maybe that's what you want and that's a good thing. But then whether what you do about the American citizenry who's then using VPNs and all sorts of other things to skirt around what's happening here.
Look, we're technology neutral at the SEC, but we're clearly very focused on investor protection. 330 million Americans are our clients. These firms, Kraken knew how to register, others know how to register. It's just a form on our website. They can come in, talk to our talented people in disclosure review teams, and if they want to offer staking, we're neutral. Come in, register, because investors need that disclosure. What are you doing with the tokens? Are you trading against?
That's exactly what happened to FTX. This guy's getting to the bottom of the problem. Right? You give FTX, BlockFi, all these guys your money.
Yeah.
And they're not even doing blockchain type.
They're not.
Financing on there. They're literally doing like real banking. Go buy a house, go buy a bunch of properties, move money to another bank, act as if you're loaning it out, go buy a bunch of other businesses.
Right.
This is where it is right. Like, you can't take people's money, don't tell them what you're doing with the money, and then you're over here buying out startups, buying out a bunch of other blockchains, putting money into other. This is what crashed FTX. This is what then crumpled down BlockFi, Circle, and all these other guys, because that transparency wasn't there. If I give the bank my money, the bank is required to tell me, kind of like we do with Fundrise.
Right.
They're required to tell us what they're doing with that money, which properties are they buying.
Absolutely.
So in this case, it's right. You know, if Kraken's gonna APY anything, tell the people what you're doing with the money.
I agree. Yeah, again, man, I think there's some areas where You cannot argue with Kinsler on it.
Yeah, even tokens, some of these companies,
Yeah.
they are not transparent. You know,
They
you're
need
gonna
to-
go buy Flocky. What the
Yeah.
fuck is Flocky? Oh, excuse my French.
Yeah. I
What's
mean,
Flocky
you know,
doing with your money?
You might as well say it now, bro. We're already getting banned off Instagram, so it does not even matter.
Oh yeah,
bro.
by the way,
We'll talk about that shit later on, bro. Freaking ridiculous. But yeah, I think, look, man, if there's anyone that is saying that the SEC is wrong in this situation,
then maybe they are the fraud. They just want to be fraudulent on people. Yeah.
yeah, because this space, I mean, we all know that this space needs that regulation. The amount of scams,
Too many scammers.
right? The amount of rock pools that we've seen just in the past 3 years alone have been alarming. Yes, I get it, man. In some situations, Ginsler is looking shady. But who knows, man? We have to wait and see. But when you start connecting dots, man, these companies need to be disclosing their information
I do think one thing though.
because they're operating the same way as traditional companies.
Literally. I do think though tokenization might get us away from the need of NASDAQ and so on and so forth, and connects the consumer directly to the end product without all the back end buybacks and all that nonsense that goes on. The transparency gets there because right now companies do buybacks and you don't even know when they start the buybacks. They're giving CEOs X amount of shares, or they're giving the executive levels X amount of shares. You don't get to see that. There's a lot of internal lack of transparency going on in the current stock market.
Yeah.
That gets you screwed up with your 401k and your other investment that you don't get to see.
Yeah.
If they tokenize it, a lot more transparency comes into that space.
But look at the people who are running the stock market, man.
The bankers, man.
Yeah.
Against the tokens? Are you borrowing against the token? Are you using them for your own purposes? And we've seen this in the crypto field. So investors not only need that disclosure, but it's the law.
Now, here's one thing that I'm going to also point out, because the CEO of Coinbase pointed this out on Twitter
I'm strong.
the other day. Yes, Armstrong, the Judas of Bitcoin is what I'll say.
That's a good one.
Anyway, he did point out that even though Gary Gensler is saying that these companies should come in and register, there is not an official way to register at the SEC. So you cannot really register even if you went in.
That's not what it said. They said that's a form. You just simply fill out the form and you're good to go.
Well, that's what he's saying on this video. But at the same time, when we were looking for that old video, I just saw a video on our YouTube channel where this was back in almost 2020, where Gary Gensler was saying that these companies should come in and register.
Oh, yeah.
They should get under compliance, right? And I will also, this is now where it gets interesting because we have companies that came in, tried to be compliant, like Coinbase, decided to play by the rules, bow down to Gary Gensler, they prostrate. And Gensler was like, yes. Yet, this year, Coinbase got fined. Was it $500 million?
50 million, something like
Okay.
that.
An outrageous amount. So how can they get fined if they came in and complied with all of your requirements? Is what is concerning to me.
I would not be surprised what they did to get fined. Some of these guys were doing some extreme stuff, though. Some extreme stuff.
Listen, man. This is why we say that all of these things, ladies and gentlemen, are a distraction to the main goal, which is Bitcoin. We must always remember why we're doing this whole thing in the first place, man. I don't think that I wake up and come and do these videos just because I want to talk about Coinbase and Kraken and the next freaking rock pool. We do this thing because the financial system is broken. This is the bigger goal.
Money is broken.
Exactly. The financial system across the globe, money is broken. And there is a solution which is already existing and is functioning and continuously growing, which is Bitcoin. That is the only reason why we do this thing, man. I don't care if Coinbase wants to run their company. Anybody can do whatever. But I think the main goal is to get as many people as possible to understand that we can be on the Bitcoin standard. because CBDCs is also just across the street. And we see what is happening in Nigeria right now.
Yep.
Bitcoin is the main objective. It's the only reason why we do these videos. And it is the reason why we're getting banned on Instagram as well right now, which will make you ask, why is it that they don't want us to talk about Bitcoin?
Why is it that they don't want the black community to learn about Bitcoin?
Exactly, bro. Hey, listen, and people might say that it is a race card. I don't give a shit, okay?
I fully bet.
Because here's the thing. When you ban us off your platform without specifying what it is,
that we've done wrong.
Okay, I get it. It's a private company. You're allowed to do that. But you also open yourself to speculation. And I know right now that there's other people also talking about Bitcoin on Instagram. But we got banned. But we'll talk about that in another video. Double of final thoughts, sir.
We live in a world where the truth is not allowed to be spoken. This is why with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is the truth.
Authoritarian shit out here.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Thanks
Do you have
for
any other thoughts?
That's it right there, man.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure to like, share, subscribe to the channel, Stack. We're on Twitter, StackFin. I think that's probably the only place we're going to end up being safe, to be honest with you. Let's see. Facebook, StackFin. We're on there. You can follow us, you know what I mean? We might go hang out. But you know, Facebook also owns Instagram, who has now banned us. And of course, we're on Spotify. So, until next time, prison up.